Hello everybody, this is Star Raptor here, and this is my movie review, spoiler free of course, of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. So is this the gladiator match of the century according to Lex Luthor? Well, I liked the movie but didn't love it. There are a couple of things that held it back from greatness. So what is this movie about? Well, if you haven't watched Man of Steel, you're going to want to make sure you go ahead and see that before this because there are a lot of references to Man of Steel in this movie. This movie takes place pretty much directly after Man of Steel. So we have Superman that has defeated General Zod, but of course their battle was in Metropolis, which leveled a lot of part of the city, including one of Wayne Industries, the buildings there, of course owned by Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. So already we have this animosity from Bruce Wayne towards Superman, and things just got worse as the people actually start turning against Superman for other things in this movie that happen that make him look really bad. So we do see the conflict arising, and it slowly takes its boiling point until it gets to that limit, and we see that famous fight of Batman v Superman. So that is basically the gist of the story. So the positives I have of this movie, things I liked. First of all, were the big tie-ins to Man of Steel, as I mentioned before. We feel like this is getting into the DC universe. We feel like this is getting into the nitty-gritty of things. I feel like there's a lot of pretty decent world building in this one. I can't wait to see where they take the DC universe in the next few movies. Also, this movie borrows a lot from the graphic novel The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. It's got a very dark tone. I mean, Man of Steel, of course, was a dark movie, but then this goes even a step further, and it's just really dark. There is pretty much no humor, no lightheartedness. It's just the battle between Batman and Superman is something very serious, and you can't take it lightly. And that leads me to the character of Batman himself, Bruce Wayne, played by Ben Affleck. There's always been a lot of talk on the internet about, oh, I don't think he's going to do a good job. Well, damn, he's probably the best part of the movie easily. He might be the best representation of Batman, Ben Affleck. He takes a lot from inspiration from, again, the not Marvel, DC Comics, Dark Knight Returns. You have that character as a more dark, brooding, cunning, sinister character that lurks in the shadows and takes out the bad guys by any means necessary. And this is kind of how we see Batman in this movie. If I can sum up Batman in this movie in one word, it'd be brutal. I mean, he just really, you just feel the impact on every hit he does on each foe. It's just absolutely incredible. Batman fans are gonna love the Batman in this one for sure. Also, moving on to Superman, we see an evolution of Superman from Man of Steel. That character is just progressing into something a little more complex. We see Superman, Clark Kent becoming more humanized, kind of, he's got this relationship with Lois Lane, but everybody on the planet is kind of turning against him for him being a god and him, not being, checks and balances. Like, you can't really do anything against Superman. He has unlimited power pretty much, so people are turning against him, and you see how he is reacting to this about how he's trying to fit in on Earth and what he can do to kind of gain the favor back of the people, because no matter what he's doing, people are just criticizing him, and a lot of people have some animosity toward him for sure. Also, another member of the Trinity is Wonder Woman for her first time in a live-action superhero movie, and Gal Gadot does an incredible job with this character. We see her in different landscapes. She just pulls off the character of this stern, commanding, just really awesome warrior princess. So I was really happy to see how that character turned out. Next up, we have Lex Luthor. So he's got a different take, Jesse Eisenberg, on this classic character. He's got this really crazy, kooky kind of personality to him. He is just a maniac, really, behind LexCorp, pulling the strings. So I actually enjoyed this character a lot. And finally, we have Alfred, played by Jeremy Irons, of course, the butler of Bruce Wayne. And typically, Alfred's been kind of just like in the background for the most part in all these other Batman things. And in this movie, he's really badass. Like, he is a really fun character that really helps Batman out in some pretty interesting ways. And moving into some action sequences, I really like the Batmobile scene. Seeing a Batmobile just as this unstoppable tank, just wrecking everything. The bad guys are just absolutely terrified of this thing coming after them. And finally, the main event, Batman v Superman. This was something to behold. I feel like they had just the right amount of time in this sequence. I mean, obviously, you have Batman, who is just a regular human, just happens to be really cunning and very intelligent and scrappy with the way of his being able to take out Superman. And Superman, it's just a really interesting battle. I can't really get into too much, but you will enjoy it for sure. Negatives. Yeah, I don't know. Something about Lois Lane, played by Amy Adams. I just like Man of Steel. I just never really enjoyed the character. I feel like Lois Lane is always in these situations that it just seems like, I don't know. It just really, I didn't like the character. Her performance to me kind of seemed a little wooden, so I'd rather not. But also the first half of this movie kind of was a little bit slower. It just, I mean, I could have used more action. It took a little bit too long to get to the boiling point here, in my opinion. And finally, the resolution between Batman and Superman just seemed like it was something that I just didn't buy it. Like the way that 1 minute they're trying to kill each other, and the next minute they're friends. I just would have liked a better way of them going about that. Also, the beginnings of what we would call the Justice League, I feel like they were rushed somewhat in this movie. I feel like we didn't really need that many nods to it, especially at the end of the film. I wish they would have just focused more on Superman and Batman. Also, Doomsday. I just didn't really like this creature or whatever you call it, because it just, first of all, I just didn't really like the animation. I felt like it was just kind of poorly done. It looked like the cross between a cave troll from Lord of the Rings and the Abomination from The Incredible Hulk. Finally, the ending, it just there's something that crazy that happens that I didn't see coming, but I wasn't a fan of that happening. And also, like, I just didn't really feel as much of an impact as I think it should have left with me. So that being said, I left the theater a little underwhelmed with this movie. Don't get me wrong, I still liked it. I enjoyed watching the movie. But, comparing it to Man of Steel, I actually liked Man of Steel more than this film. I still have high hopes for the rest of the DC Universe. Again, I think there was some great world building in here. I'm looking forward to see Suicide Squad come out in August. So that is my review of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. What'd you think of my review for Batman v Superman? Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and hit that thumbs up symbol if you liked the video. And if you like this video, you might want to subscribe to my channel where we find other videos such as my movie review for Man of Steel. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at StarRaptor, as well as like my Facebook page at StarRaptor. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.